Hello, and now we're looking at the wine inventory tab. So before we get started with this, let's go ahead and talk about the parameters we set up in the settings tab. If you click the wine settings, this module will pop up. So let's go by these little by little. The wine barrel and kegs, do you count empty kegs in your inventory? So some establishments carry wine kegs and offer that on tap for their by the glass options. So if you do carry kegs in your inventory and you differentiate the volume of the wine, which is what the keg is carrying, that's the alcohol itself, versus the keg deposit, which is that's a credit back you're getting from the vendor, then you could showcase it within keeping this turned on. So, if you order in a barrel or a keg of wine, you could showcase the cost of the wine and also the deposit of the wine for the deposit of the barrel. If you by chance do not count your empty kegs because you know you're going to receive a credit, you don't have to worry about it. Just click no. And then in that case, in the add wine model, when it pops up, and I'll show you here in a bit, it'll only add the keg wine by volume only. It won't have a input for your keg deposit. Um, so do as you see with this one. If you want to put in the total amount of the wine by volume and the deposit into your pricing, you can do that as well. So, but I recommend just leaving it as no if you do that. For this example, we'll keep it as yes. So for the wine pour size, you'll have your flat wine ounces, 6 ounces, craft 8 ounces, sparkling, which is your champagne, cava, sparkling, that'll be at 5 ounces. And these are just numbers that I've placed in that are generally used by restaurants. You could update these to fit your metrics. Dessert is like your Sauternes, Shikai, as well as ports, 2.5 ounces. Your wine sliding scale markup. So this is again going to be a markup depending on the cost of the bottle. So if a bottle is $5 to $20, it'll be 300% markup and so forth. You could delete a parameter out or you could adjust it accordingly just by updating the values inside the input boxes. You also have the varietals here. So we have these preset. We already entered these in manually under the first video. You could also enter in a varietal when you're entering a wine. It'll push it into your varietals category and it'll be easier to pull later on when you continue adding wine. Same thing for your appellations. If you have different appellations that your wine is resided in, just enter it into either here or when you're adding the wine manually. And upon save, it'll be showcased within your appellations, but also be able to be retrieved in your add wine area. So with that being said, let's go ahead and go back to the wine tab. You'll see that you're able to search your wines, filter out the columns. So if you look in the back, you see that your columns are starting to disappear here, and that's going to basically give you an ease of what you're wanting to look for rather than have all the data there showcased. You have your add items, which is your add wine. We'll look at this here in a moment. Clear quantities, which is going to clear the quantities within your table for your areas, as well as your add and subtract columns, which is more like a running inventory. If you purchase in a 12 pack of wine for this wine item, then you can always enter in 12 right here for the 12 bottles. It'll update the quantity, update your inventory. If you pull in your payments report and you sell 6 bottles, you could add 6 here. You don't have to do -6, just put in 6. It'll reduce your quantity total by that value as well as your inventory total. If I would say before you clear your quantities, you may want to print out a PDF of your inventory or even a CSV of your inventory. It works both ways. Main difference is that the PDF does not show notes where your export does show notes because you don't want to have data like starting to overrun on your paper and you have to print out multiple paper. So you also have your inventory imports. You can download a template, upload a template. You have printable barcodes, which we'll look at this at the very end. So with that all being said, let's go ahead and add an item. On default, it'll be standard 750 milliliter bottle. You do have your splits all the way to Nebuchadnezzar, including your wine keg. We'll type in Camus for the vendor. Let's say we don't have a vendor available for this. We could just click add new, and then all we need to do is type in the company name, so RNDC, hit enter, and move forward. So vintage. Let's say this is 2023. If by chance you're entering in a bottle of wine, like a champagne that is not vintage specific, just click non-vintage and it'll disregard the vintage that you input and only have NV that'll showcase. If for the varietal, if you do not have the varietal in here, just again show you. Let's do Cabernet Sauvignon, Napa Valley. Bottle cost is $95. When you enter in the value, you see that the markup percentage is now showcased below. And let's say you're not happy with that, you want it to be a little more expensive, and you want to get a better cost percentage yield. Just do the override percentage, and I believe it was 225 before. If we uncheck this, it'll show you, nope, 250. Let's see, you want to be at 275. And it'll tell you using override. You could also do a value. Let's say you just want to keep it at 350 solid. 350, you see your cost position will update and it'll showcase what you're doing down here. You can click either one or the other. You can't click both. If you uncheck both of them, it goes back to your defaults. Let's say you serve Camus by the glass. Go ahead and click your by the glass options. You go ahead and hit a flat. Again, the options are showcase flat, sparkling, or dessert. And if you serve this as a craft, you could also select it as well. It'll show you how many glasses, how many ounces per glass, how many bottles you're yielding, either by the glass pour or by the craft pour. Now, let's say we keep one bottle at the bar and we keep 10 in the wine cellar. We're going to just type in test notes, and at the very bottom, last bit will be your calculated prices. What you should price your bottle. Again, you price it however you like. There is a menu makeup in here, so you use that if you want or don't use it. You have your sliding scale markup, your glass prices, as well as craft prices. If we update with one of these boxes, you'll see that the prices will change. So let's say we're doing a manual price of 350, the prices will change accordingly. Let's go ahead and click add. When we click add wine, the model will clear itself out, go back to the original state for you to enter in more wine. So we'll go ahead and do a test entry just to show you how fast this is. Let's go ahead and hit done. Add wine. Let's do your default to 750 milliliter. We're doing Plump Jack. We're going to do Southern Glaciers wine, which is not in there. We hit A to add new. Southern Glaciers wine, enter. We're going ahead and say this is a 2025. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. This is a Chardonnay from Napa. Bottle cost is $100. By the glass, flat pour, and this is going to be 2 at the main bar and 5 at the wine cellar. Click add and keep on going for it. So, it's pretty easy to add in wines manually, but there's also a better way to do an import. Before we mess the import, let's look at the table data and kind of walk you through this. So, you start off with your bid numbers. Your bid numbers are assigned to your varietal. And so if I put another Cabernet in here, you'll see it go from A1 to A2. If you have 150 different Cabernets, it won't be 100 A150. It'll be AB1 or AB50. So A99, AB1, AB2, AB99, AC1. And that way, kind of like just you have so much more to play with having a string of numbers at the back of it. Just kind of keeps everything a little more tidy. Same thing will happen with the Chardonnay. If you have Merlot, Pinot Noir, it'll have its own associated bin numbers. Right, so you have your vendors, the varietals, bottle sizes, wine name, vintage, appellations, your where you keep your inventory. You can use your arrow key on your keyboard to kind of move around where you want. You could also use the tab on your keyboard to go more of a horizontal format. So if you're entering data quickly, 1, 10, 5. If you, let's say you purchased only 6 bottles of the Camus and you sold 3. So not only will it update the total cost that you have on hand for the inventory, but also update within the inventory up here. You then have your total quantities on hand. You have your cost of the item, the keg deposit, which we will show here in a moment, total cost of the items on hand, by the bottle pricing, by the glass pricing, and your craft pricing if it yields itself to show. You do also have your notes to showcase as well. Let's say this wine is now moving to a craft. You click that, hit Save Changes, and the data will now showcase itself right here for you. If we're doing a keg, let's go ahead and a wine keg. We will do a test wine keg for the name of it. Vendor, doesn't really matter. We'll just do XYZ Wine Co. For the vintage. We'll say it's non-vintage. That way I show you what it looks like. Say it's Chardonnay. No, let's do P for Pinot Noir. We'll see it for Sonoma. 145 and deposit's $35. So again, this is going to be the volume only, which is going to be the actual wine within the keg, and this is going to be the keg deposit, which is going to be what you're receiving as a credit back from the vendor. You have the glass percentage. This is going to be how much a 750 milliliter bottle will cost if you divvy out how many 750 milliliter bottles you get from the 11.4 liter keg. It's already going to be preset to flat wine. You can have a sparkling or dessert if you want, but I'm pretty sure they only have flat wine to be provided in kegs. You could offer it in a craft version, and then you're going to have one at the main bar. Let's say you have two in the wine cellar holding up. And you have your cost percentage that I'll showcase here. So glass price and your craft price. Um, we'll kind of leave it as that. You can adjust. I'll have it to where you can adjust the prices later on, but this is a showcase where your parameters are. So we'll go ahead and click Add Wine, click Done, and you see all your parameters are now fixed in. If you look up here, there's a wine kegs with product, 3 on hand. So that shows that you have 3 wines in product here. If you want to look at just wines alone, you click the bottle size and it'll actually format and showcase the wine kegs, but it'll clump all of the wine bottles together for you. You could also add in, let's say you purchased one keg in, now you have 4 and 4. Let's say you have 2 for some reason that got picked up because it's bad or you forgot you didn't mean to order it, you're back left at 2. If you have empty wine kegs on your loading dock or ready to be picked up, you can go ahead and type in 2 just to showcase your credit. That's being pending, hit save, and you'll see that now your empty kegs are being showcased here. For the PDF download, let me show you what this looks like. I did a test run earlier, wasn't happy with some of the formatting, so I changed some stuff around. You'll see that the liquor beer and wine will showcase, including the data with the kegs. You'll see the bin numbers, vendors, varietals, all your data here for you. And if we download the export CSV, let me go right over this. You'll see that you have all the same data except for test notes will be listed here for you. Now let's look at importing data. So we're going to go ahead and download and import CSV. And this is what it'll look like. It'll have some notes from row 4 to 1 to kind of help you get a little more concentrated with how this works, but it's pretty straightforward. You enter the wine name, the varietal, the vintage, varietal, appellations, bottle size, vendor, cost, bottle price, glass price. If you don't have some of this data, it's fine. Just delete it out. If you have the data, then even better. That way it kind of showcases how to input this stuff for you. Now, um, let's go ahead and X out of here. Click Don't Save. We will now upload the data. And there we are. So all the data will be pushed into here. And as you see, A1, A2, C being the Pinot Noir. You click bin number and put these in order if you want. And then you're able to print out some barcodes once you have some wine generated in your inventory. So first off to say that you must use Avery 5167 label template paper. These are like the return address for for mailing letters. I find them very easy to use on wine bottles or liquor bottles, boxes, whatever you want. And then again, the printing set scale percentage needs to be set to actual size. I'll show you what that means in a minute. We do have a total amount of 80 barcodes per paper to print out. And I would suggest doing one paper at a time so you don't overprint. But also you can modify it accordingly as you continue to print. So, or you could all go ahead and save your templates and print out multiples for yourself. With that being said, you do have 5 currently out of 80 showcase because that's going to be every single wine will have 1 as a input value. You clear everything, and as you see now, you have a full of 80. If you go over 80, it'll tell you, hey, you're kind of pushing it. Actually, you're pretty much overboard. You can also search for the wines. Let's say I want to only print out Camus and I want to print out 20 labels. I can click the print barcode. I'm going to overwrite what I had earlier. And let me showcase what this is. So you'll have the barcodes, the bin number, wine name, the varietal appellation, and the vintage. So if I zoom this out, and I need to make sure that it is the actual size being printed on, the margins of the paper will change. It'll update. So now that it's actual size, it'll print out properly on the Avery label paper. Let's say you printed this out, use the first 5 rows, and you want to use that same piece of paper to print out different items. So we're going to click X to X out of the search function, clear everything out, and you want to print out 25 of the plump jack. Well, we know that the first, and I click the modify label button, but you know that the first 5 rows are used. That way, the rest of the rows are now showcased as being used. So it works just like Avery.com when it comes to modifying what rows are available or even what labels are available. And let's go ahead and close this out and say we want to print on the 25 labels. If I overwrite what I just did, I'll open up the barcode. And let me go to the print format and to the actual size. You'll see that only what I allowed to be printed on will be printed on. So the first 5 rows are taken, it'll print underneath, but in the case I did uncheck these 3 boxes just to showcase that it'll also fill in the labels that you allow to be printed on. And we'll go ahead and hit clear, exit out of this. Lastly, the clear quantity button will clear all the quantities within the table. So if I click that, click yes, it'll clear everything out. For the empty wines, if you click clear to click clear, it'll wipe everything out for you. But again, before doing that, I would highly suggest downloading a PDF or export CSV so you always have that data for you and you don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, how many Camuses did I have last month, end of month, compared to beginning of month this month. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and finish this wine tutorial up, and we'll go ahead and move on to the NA products, which will be like your sodas, non-alcoholic beverages, your garnishes, syrups, juices, and even if you later on down the road, I'll show you make a batch crafted mocktail, how to price everything out accordingly. So, right, so I'll leave it on here for the moment, and I will be back here in a minute.